resilient people. We can, we will.
Thanks for staying with us as we continue with the 42nd Independence Anniversary celebrations, spotlight on St. Lucia's diplomatic corps, and also celebrating the 100th anniversary of the St. Lucia United Association. Joseph, could you just mention another notable victory, if you will, or something that is really outstanding with your association that you would like to speak about today?
Sure. I think in our quest for keeping our culture wherever St. Lucians reside, Brother Wayland Ogist and Brother Martial in London, who was the president of the St. Lucia Association in London at the time, which was established in 1926. Brother Wayland commuted back and forth to London, and in conversation, meetings that were held, they established the Union of Overseas Organizations for St. Lucia. So in my opinion, without question, being able to unify groups throughout the globe was something that we were very prideful about. Now mind you, it was the brainchild of Brother Martial in London, but of course, Brother Wayland was very instrumental, likewise, in getting it established, who was at the time president of the St. Lucia United Association.
So many insights of the 100-year-old organization, not only still existing here in New York, but obviously very, very active, and there is even a number of youth who are coming to the organization with the intention to pass the baton, to take the baton from the older ones into the younger generation. Now it's time to look at yet another submission from a consulate from some part of the world, which is part of our 42nd Independence Anniversary celebrations. So please continue to view.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Tell them say I live, yeah, a resilient nation.
Hello, my name is Alvin Landers. I'm the Consul General for St. Lucia in New York. My stint started here a little over a year ago, and my primary role is to serve the interests of our St. Lucian nationals within and outside the consulate designated jurisdiction within the northeastern coast of the United States. The consulate is currently accredited to 9 states within the northeastern corridor, and that's New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Maine, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. However, to date, the states with the largest concentration of our nationals are New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Prior to October 2012, in New York, St. Lucia simply had a mission to the United Nations. So accreditation was to the United Nations. However, having an ambassador, St. Lucian ambassador, posted in New York, and with a generally large St. Lucian community in New York, the ambassador endeavored to provide some measure of support to all St. Lucian citizens up there. But it was grossly inadequate. So hence, the government of the day had decided to appoint me as Consul General for St. Lucia in New York.
The primary function of consulates is usually around passports, visas for visitors to St. Lucia, apostille, certification of St. Lucian documents. But I think that the biggest thing that we do is relationship building. This is critical because you just never know when you're going to need that relationship, or when that relationship is going to provide you with an opportunity to do the things which are also part of our mandate, which is tourism, investment, trade. So for example, a couple years ago, we had a national who was on vacation in South America and got robbed, lost all their documentation. Thankfully, we had a relationship with US Security and Border Control, which allowed us to help that national to re-enter the US safely without all the documentation that they needed. If not, they would have been stuck in South America for who knows how long.
In my tenure, we were able to reduce the passport application turnaround time to about 7 days, 7 working days. Also, the issue of birth certificates. You would know the history yourselves for St. Lucians to have been able to renew their birth certificates. It was even worse. And we were able to facilitate the applications of birth certificates of our people with a turnaround time of about 30 days. Deportations was another major area of concern. And as you know, with a large population of St. Lucians in New York, yes, some of them go on the other side of the law. So we had quite a backlog of, requests for deportations. What was done in the past, simply when the U.S. made a request, it was simply facilitated. But I endeavored to put a policy and a set of procedures in place, which entailed that every request, the individual would have to be taken to our office for an interview, regardless of what state they were in. And we would have this interview, and we were able to better manage the issue of deportations.
As a consulate, we collaborate with a number of agencies back home, and Export St. Lucia is one of those. As a matter of fact, there is this young lady, young entrepreneur back home. She is the proprietor of Black and Daring, and we are trying to assist in getting her to penetrate the US market. So since taking the post of Consul General, I have been deliberate in my posture in terms of spending very little time in my office. What I do, or what I've done, is that make it my duty to go down into the boroughs of Brooklyn, and Brooklyn is where you get a bigger concentration of our people. So I go to Brooklyn. I try to find out where all the water holes of our people are. You try to interact. And this is how you find out what is affecting our average national living up here. But having said that, I want to really, really thank my staff, the persons who are working around me, making everything possible.
In New York, we have a number of organizations. There are well over 25 organizations in New York, all of which work towards the maintenance not only of our culture but of our community, building that strong community relationship. All of these organizations come under the St. Lucia House Foundation, which was founded about 11 years ago.
The St. Lucia House Foundation is the umbrella organization for a number of organizations in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. We work along with the St. Lucia Consulate very closely in collaborating mainly St. Lucian events. For example, right now we're preparing for the Independence Anniversary, where we have a number of events. We also do National Day, Journée Creole. One of our biggest events is what we deem Plaisir Bleu. It's a fundraiser for a St. Lucian scholarship in honor of our former ambassador, Dr. Keith St. Amy, who is the brainchild behind the St. Lucia House Foundation. Our aim and goal more than anything is the unification of St. Lucians in the tri-state area, bringing our culture back home, from home back to this area, and looking at those second generation St. Lucians out here and ensuring that they know what we did back home. So that's what we do, and we invite all St. Lucians at all times, no matter where you're from. St. Lucia House is always your home.
I have been in talks with a number of investors, However, there is this particular investor that I have been dialoguing with. As of now, there is a proposal before Invest St. Lucia where they're looking to open up a pharmaceutical packaging company in Beaufort. What this company is going to be doing is to package FDA-approved pharmaceuticals for distribution within the Caribbean region and South America. This investment initiative I'm very, very excited about because in dialoguing with the investor, he has assured me that being the hub for the distribution of those medications in the region, St. Lucia stands to benefit from a cost standpoint tremendously. And I'm really, really looking forward to this investment initiative. However, like everything else, COVID has slowed down, a number of our initiatives here. As a consulate, we play a very integral role in the developmental agenda of our country, and that's St. Lucia. But unfortunately, when I came here in January of 2020, and I delved in right away into the events leading to our 41st anniversary of our independence. And the funny thing is, right after the conclusion of our independence anniversary event, then we got hit by the virus, COVID. And I must admit though, I did get COVID in April of 2020, and it was terrible. However, I was able to recover, and I participated in the repatriation effort of getting our St. Lucians who were stuck abroad back home.
Unfortunately, because of COVID, we had to close our borders. You found that the consulate took the lead in New York, working with our consulate in Miami and our embassy in Washington, D.C., the Ministry of Health, CMO, Ministry of Tourism in St. Lucia, to ensure the safe repatriation of a number of our nationals who were stuck here in the U.S. through no fault of their own.
We were able to repatriate a little over 93 St. Lucians back to St. Lucia, and me and my team, we personally, went to the airport to see, our people through, to make sure that everything was okay, and we were quite happy that that they were able to make it home safely. We had to vacate our offices and work from home. However, I continued to collaborate with a number of organizations. Especially, there was this particular initiative that I actually worked on, and it was an education drive, and that was in the heart of COVID. So I collaborated with Mr. Mackey, who is the president of the Lions Club of Connecticut, Miss Raquel Prosper, and also Miss Sally Etienne, to organize a school drive that would benefit children in need within the various communities in St. Lucia.
So you see, unlike the misconception that most people have, that all consulates do is passports, many people think that, there's so much more. Like I said, the consulates are charged with trade, tourism, investment, as well as the diaspora. And we work very hard here in New York towards trying to touch on all of those areas as we work towards promoting our island.
So the consulate plays a critical role in the developmental agenda of our country. And it takes a collaborative effort amongst all the pertinent governmental agencies, as well as the involvement of all St. Lucians in the diaspora for this agenda to bear fruit. COVID has brought a new dimension to the constant evolution of our world. It has brought about challenges as well as opportunities. But let us embrace the opportunities that have been presented to us and confront the challenges collectively. We are now approaching our 42nd anniversary as an independent nation. At this critical juncture, our united force is needed more than ever. We are a resilient nation. We can and we will. Happy 42nd anniversary, St. Lucia, and continue to be safe. Thank you.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Are you in quarantine? Keep monitoring yourself daily for any changes in how you feel. If you notice flu-like symptoms like loss of smell or taste, a fever, cough, or trouble breathing, let your healthcare provider know immediately. This message is brought to you by the Bureau of Health Education within the Ministry of Health and Wellness and this station.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Welcome back as we celebrate our independence and of course the association's 42 years. Joseph, when the St. Lucians who formed this association first landed in America in 1920, where were they based and how did they spread out? And let's say some of the programs that still exist within the association at present day.
Well, back then, Russell, as you know, that most immigrants coming to the U.S., you had to go to Ellis Island at the time. Most of them arrived by boat. And with the racial climate at the time, most blacks lived in Harlem. You know, if you lived in New York, Harlem was the place most blacks moved to. So naturally, our first members who came in moved in Harlem. As a result, the group was started in Harlem. And over time, it was moved to Brooklyn.
I understand that there are even members who have moved to as far as Florida, where they've begun a chapter over there, and of course spread to other parts of the globe as well.
Absolutely, Florida, Atlanta, Maryland, Boston, and I mean, we're spread all throughout the country.
So the associations that are now resident in, as the diaspora associations, really have to tip their hat to St. Lucia United, actually.
I believe it would be fair to do so, yes, absolutely.
What are some of the ongoing programs that exist in your association?
Well, some of the things that we're prideful about is our many donations to the Marian Home in St. Lucia over the course of many years, and also untold amount of gifts and school supplies to students. Sir John actually boasts one time, as a schoolboy, he looked forward to receiving gifts, whether it be pencils, books from the St. Lucia United Association as well.
Oh, it goes as far back as Sir John.
Absolutely, yes.
Really a lot to be proud about, and still existing, and the attendance at the various functions, whether fundraisers or social or cultural activities. I have attended a number of them, emceed a few as well, so I know that a very, very vibrant organization. Talk about the vibrance. Let's see some of the vibrance at a consulate in some part of the world, so please take a look. We'll be back in a moment.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Tell him say I live, yeah, a resilient nation.
St. Lucia opened this embassy in June of 2015 as its first and only embassy in Asia. We are located in the government-owned diplomatic compound in the suburbs of Taiwan's capital city, Taipei. Along with myself, the ambassador, there is the second secretary, Ms. Bernice Springer, and 2 local staff members. Although Taiwan is very far away. The economic and political cooperation between the two countries is very important and of great benefit to St. Lucia. The embassy has a key role in fostering that relationship and promoting understanding of our country and advancing the friendship which underpins our cooperation.
The political situation here is very unique, and the diplomat in Taiwan has to be particularly careful. The superpower China and the world's second largest economy considers that Taiwan is a breakaway province and does not recognize the government in Taipei. However, St. Lucia and 14 other states do. This recognition is vital to Taiwan since it provides it and its government with valuable international legitimacy. St. Lucia has been a strong defender of Taiwan, speaking up for it in the UN, the WHO, and elsewhere. We do not only support the rights of Taiwan, but also want this advanced democratic country to be able to make a contribution to the rest of the world and to global governance institutions. Taiwan, for its part, has been supportive of our economic development efforts and has been providing assistance in a range of areas, including infrastructural development, agriculture, education, and also at the community level.
This is a prosperous and highly developed country of 23 million, from which we can benefit greatly if we can only develop business with it. A key area is tourism. True, the distance between our countries is great, but we are an attractive destination for the Taiwanese holidaymaker. All we need is a small percentage of that lucrative market. The embassy has been working with tourism organizations in Taiwan like SCAL, as well as travel agents and other operators in the business to lay the foundation for establishing a viable tourism business. We currently are undertaking the following activities in particular. One is the conduct of an analysis of the travel preferences of Taiwanese, and the other is promoting information and knowledge of St. Lucia via varied outreach and at tourism fairs. Investment is another obvious area of business, and here we are engaging with potential investors and with business groupings. One success that the embassy has been able to secure so far has been the commitment for the establishment of a tourism university that will undertake training in tourism in St. Lucia. The embassy also seeks to promote exports from St. Lucia to Taiwan. It has participated in trade fairs and has been directly promoting our exports to business houses in Taiwan. The two most promising products are rum and condiments. So far, however, there has not been the realization of new business, but the embassy intends to keep pushing these as well as other local products.
This is a notable and valuable area of cooperation. Taiwan provides scholarships for St. Lucia nationals. This year, there were 27 nationals who received scholarships, a 23% increase from last year. The scholarships provide valuable opportunities for young St. Lucians to pursue tertiary education at leading universities. The subjects selected for training are those decided on by St. Lucia, and the main ones are medicine, agriculture, and engineering. Some programs are delivered in English, including medicine and several postgraduate courses. However, for the others where the language of tuition is Chinese, students go through an intensive year of language training to prepare for their coursework in Chinese. The embassy provides orientation and support for the students and, as required, intervenes with the school and other authorities on their behalf. The embassy provides consular support for nationals. This takes the form of facilitating the various applications such as passport applications and the certification of documents. The embassy also addresses and has provided support as appropriate to nationals who have encountered difficulties.
Ensuring visibility of St. Lucia and public engagement is very important in the promotion of St. Lucia in Taiwan and the creation of a favorable impression of our country amongst the Taiwanese public. The embassy established as its 40th Independence Anniversary Legacy Project the St. Lucia Friendship Alliance, which is made up of persons from the business community, the arts, education, and the media, among others. We have also been involved in a range of cultural activities, such as the Taiwanese National Day Parade on the 10th of October, where we had the carnival band Afolabe participated in the National Day Parade. We have also had promotions on television, in social media, and at schools.
When the outbreak first began to spread in this part of the world, the embassy sought to monitor the well-being of nationals in Wuhan and elsewhere in China, in Taiwan, and in neighboring countries. Fortunately, over the entire period, there were no cases of infection reported. The embassy provided weekly updates to government on the progress of the disease in this region and measures being taken by governments. The spectacular performance of Taiwan in dealing with the pandemic has been internationally recognized. The embassy monitored the measures that it was taking and kept the government advised in order that it could emulate any of the measures that it considered appropriate. The embassy has been able to secure a range of COVID relief supplies, including personal protective and other equipment. It has also been conducting a fundraising campaign and has raised the equivalent of almost 400,000 EC dollars, which will be presented to St. Lucia on Independence Day.
The foundations for effective representation of St. Lucia in Taiwan have been laid over the last few years, but they need to be constantly upgraded, both at the governmental and the business levels. Taiwan is a committed and a willing partner. The embassy will continue to build on the great progress that has been made in the political sphere as well as in government-to-government level cooperation. We can gain more from this relationship. There are still great opportunities for the future, particularly in the business sphere, in private foreign investment and technology transfer, as well as in tourism. These will be the key areas of focus for the embassy in the coming year.
Congratulations and best wishes on the 42nd Independence Anniversary from all of us at the Embassy in Taiwan, the students, other nationals living here, and all of the many friends of St. Lucia in Taiwan. Bonne fête!
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Do you know we can limit the spread of the COVID-19 virus? The Ministry of Health is your partner in achieving this solution. Introducing the Amber Wristwatch. The Amber Wristwatch is designed for monitoring daily movements while in quarantine. It provides an accurate location and a precise heart rate. The device is also waterproof and can be worn during all daily functions, like washing the dishes or taking a shower. It's worn like a typical timepiece. The Ministry of Health can now better monitor people in home quarantine and receive alerts of those who do not stay in the confines of their home. A 14-day rental of the Amber Wristwatch is just $75 US. Let us stop the breaches of home quarantine.
Welcome back. I hope that you thoroughly enjoyed the video of one of the consulates from around the world. Of course, they've put their own together, so they have that vitality and joie de vivre that is needed in the diplomatic corps. With us, as promised, we continue to speak to Ms. Neva Jean, who is the current president of the St. Lucia United Association. Neva, how did you become president? How does one become president? You've been in there for a few terms, and what are your role, function? What do you do as the president?
Well, after being in the association and doing quite a bit of activities and being very active in the organization, I was later asked to become president. I was later asked, why don't you run for president? It really wasn't something I was thinking of at the time, but eventually I was persuaded to, you would be a good president. I decided to run, and I won the position. And since then, it's just been a pretty good run, just making sure that the association remains active, that we continue our work of being able to contribute, to donate, to be a part of a community that gives back and make sure that we take care of the people who matter, who are our fellow St. Lucians, people who need assistance in times of disasters, in times of, sometimes we get requests from former members, or we get requests from the community where people need assistance. A school might need books, or somebody might, somewhere, one of the groups in St. Lucia, the Marian Home, they may need some kind of assistance. We get letters and we're asked to assist, and that's how association continues to use their fundraising activities to assist those in need of help.
And it's your third term.
This is my third term. We have had breast cancer walks here in New York. We have raised funds also. We have had blood drives for the community. So we have pretty much, over the years, done quite a few things where we can give back to the community.
So after your third term, what happens with you as president?
After my third term, I become president emeritus, and we do have elections, and we're looking forward to see who the next president will be.
Is there some kind of succession, the same way you in your 20s came in and there were younger folks there? Mm-hmm. Is there a succession plan for new blood to be coming into the association?
Of course, yes. We're hoping that as we go along, as we continue, that we will, the past year have kind of put us, a few steps back, but we're hoping that as we open up and things become more normal, we're hoping that we can kind of jump into what we started and continue our mission with the association.
Well, she's actually jump-started the next question, which is coming out after this break. Let's see what novelty awaits with the next submission of a video from our diplomatic corps. And we come back to Ms. Neva Jean.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Tell him say I live, yeah, a resilient nation.
Hi, I'm Joanna Sultan, Consul General for St. Lucia in Martinique, Guadeloupe, and French Guiana. On this Independence anniversary, we'd like to invite you into the consulate to see how we function, to learn a little about us, and to see exactly what we do. I was appointed in October 2017 and head the consular office, which is located in Fort-de-France, Martinique. My team consists of Ms. Teresa Savi, who is the Administrative Secretary, Ms. Celeste Sadou, who is the Administrative Aide or Receptionist, and Ms. Gilda Charles, our Attaché Culturel, responsible for all cultural exchange projects and who only recently joined us 2 months ago. She has taken over from Mrs. Ricura Lassonnière, who recently retired and who played a major role in contributing to the success of the consulate over the past 3 years. We wish all St. Lucians a happy independence, not only the diaspora in the French departments, but in every country all over the world. Admittedly, it has been a difficult year with COVID-19. Some of us have lost loved ones, family, friends, neighbors. I recently lost 2 very good friends of mine to COVID, and it was tough. But only by following the protocols, wear a mask, wash and sanitize hands, social distancing of 6 feet, can each and every one of us fight and defeat this disease. And so, on this independence anniversary, we need to come together as a nation and take responsibility not only for ourselves, but also for each other, because only collectively can we fight and defeat COVID-19. Happy Independence, St. Lucia! The Consulate of St. Lucia is responsible for citizens of St. Lucia who reside in Martinique, Guadeloupe, and French Guiana. The office is located in Fort-de-France, Martinique. Some of our consular services include passport applications, vital record applications such as birth certificates and death certificates, translation of documents, and non-immigrant visa applications. The following gives some insight into how we work at the consulate and highlights some of our achievements over the past 3 years.
What? So I'm coming back home, tell them St. Lucia where you.
It was the 39th independence anniversary and my first big event. I wanted to bring St. Lucians and Martinicans together to celebrate our anniversary, and so we mixed the artists. We had La Perfecta, a popular band from Martinique, as well as some St. Lucian artists, showcasing their talents and our culture, whom we brought over from St. Lucia. It all went down very well. I guess you can say that I came in with a bang. And there was a little education in there as well. We played a video highlighting the road to St. Lucia's independence. I think everyone learned something that night and had a great time doing it. The gala dinner was something we wanted to do in an effort to raise funds to help the Marine unit of the police force in St. Lucia, given the fact that they not only patrol and protect our borders, but indirectly those of Martinique as well. When we came up with the idea, most persons actually shot it down because they thought that at 125 euros per ticket, that was unheard of. And of course, we would have never gotten people to attend. And so I decided to go personally to the various associations and business houses, not only to sell the tickets myself, but also to sell the idea of cooperation and support between the two islands. Initially, we printed 200 tickets and then had to go back and print another 100. By the time the dinner came around, we had 360 persons in attendance, with additional persons wanting to pay at the door. But unfortunately, we could not accept because the venue was full. It was the event of the year. Prime Minister Alain Chaste and his wife attended, as well as President Marie-Jeanne of Martinique. After expenses, we raised $30,000 for the Marine unit in St. Lucia, something that we all at the consulate are really proud of.
Yo, Teddy, say what what you want to say.
Something on my chest, I want to express it. Let me ask you a question.
The project was an effort on the part of the Bellevue High School in Martinique to demonstrate the integration of foreign communities in Martinique. The highlight of this initiative was the participation of a St. Lucian cricket team for the first time in an educational context. The team from Babonneau Secondary School with head coach Leo Louisi introduced the French students to cricket during an entire morning, and which culminated in an actual game being played among host students, invited guest students from Norway, and the star team from St. Lucia. The event proved to be very educational from a linguistic, integrational, and sporting point of view. It was an amazing success. The event closed with a multicultural buffet which facilitated the socialization of the students.
Martinique and St. Lucia, forever united.
Independence 40 was a huge event, as everyone would remember. It was a milestone to be celebrated not only by St. Lucians in the diaspora, but also to be shared with the French. And so we decided that a memorial service incorporating patois, English and French was appropriate, as it would include everyone.
Wheresoever you may roam, love, oh love, our island home.
There were beautiful performances by our very own Shirley Ann Mayers. There was also a spiritual dance performance and a showing of the official Independence 40 video. The church was packed. There were so many people dressed in their national colors. I was especially proud to be St. Lucian that day. It all ended on a high note with St. Lucian specialties such as bakes and saltfish, local juice, and locally made sweets were served. The culinary exchange was an interesting project because it was the catalyst as well as a precursor for the twinning ceremony which took place a few months later. So how did it begin? The principal of the Lycée Nord Caraïbe, which is a tertiary level educational institution, was interested in doing culinary exchanges between Sir Arthur Lewis Community College and his school, where his students could learn St. Lucian cuisine and our St. Lucian students could learn French cuisine. So John Curran, who is the chief instructor at Sir Arthur Lewis, as well as Chef Julian Clayton, one of St. Lucia's top chefs, traveled to Martinique and gave classes to students, which was a huge success. Their trip culminated with a dinner with special invited French guests, and which was prepared by the students and overseen, of course, by Chef Julian and Mr. Curran. I really enjoyed that 4-course meal, one of the best that I've ever had. The students and our chefs got a standing ovation at the end of the evening, and I was extremely proud to represent St. Lucia. The consulate works extremely closely with certain associations in Martinique, but there's one in particular, Caraïbe, that has been supportive from day one. In response to a request made by Dr. Snack of the Pediatric Department of the Victoria Hospital in 2019, the association donated 2 echograph machines which they presented to the hospital. We again approached Caraïbe for assistance in 2020 when the Gros Islet Polyclinic urgently requested an EKG machine, and they once again responded positively. We are especially grateful for the support from Caraïbe, especially in St. Lucia's health sector.
Oh yeah, there's no place I'd rather be but home.
This initiative was the brainchild of Mrs. Lassonnière. As an educator, she saw the potential and importance of twinning educational institutions. And so we planned and organized a ceremony where 10 educational institutions from the primary to the tertiary level were twinned, with the objective of encouraging more targeted and beneficial exchanges in the domain of culture, sports, language, and most importantly, education between the twin schools. The principals of the various schools in Martinique traveled to St. Lucia to attend the ceremony, where each school received a sign with the name of their twin and which subsequently they erected on their school here in Martinique. A friendly cricket match was organized the following day between the Babonneau cricket team and students from the Bellevue College in Martinique. The French team did very, very well. They actually arrived a week in St. Lucia before the ceremony, and they trained with a St. Lucian coach. They evidently learned the game very, very well. Following the twinning ceremony, 46 students from the St. Joseph's Convent visited their twin, Couvent de Cluny, here in Martinique, and spent a week where they lived part of their linguistic experience, immersed in various classes at the school, and they also visited cultural monuments, historic monuments, and sites. It was really a fun time for them, and we were so proud to receive those students here in Martinique. The students also visited the consulate, where they experienced firsthand the functioning and importance of the consulate. There were other planned exchanges between the various twins, but with the COVID and associated restrictions, they are all currently on hold. The consulate was approached by the president of the Lions Club of Rivière-Salée with a project which we thought was extremely innovative. The club members had spent months collecting eyeglasses around the island from various donors and wanted to send them to St. Lucia. So we contacted the Blind Welfare Association, who was more than happy to receive a box of about 800 reading glasses. They would subsequently test them, clean them, and then distribute to persons in St. Lucia who are unable to afford reading glasses. In September 2020, after discussions with St. Lucia Air and Seaports authorities, the consulate organized a freight ferry service which operates every Wednesday in order to facilitate the transfer of care packages from persons in Martinique to their loved ones in St. Lucia. These care packages have brought great relief to many families during this type of economic crisis. In response to a request for assistance by the consulate arising from the COVID-19 crisis, the French government responded swiftly by donating 10,000 masks and 50 cots. As a matter of urgency, the items were transported to St. Lucia aboard the French military vessel La Combattante. The rest of the donation arrived a few weeks later in 2 40-foot containers and comprised of 40 medical beds and mattresses, 10 cardiac monitors, and 2 Optiflow machines. The support the consulate received and continues to receive from our French neighbor is overwhelming and is a testament to the firm cooperation that exists between Martinique and St. Lucia.
Feel so grateful, happy and able. At the end of the day, I got down on my knees, I pray.
To help St. Lucia in the fight against COVID, we also approached the private sector in Martinique. The Friends of St. Lucia Association, headed by Mr. Yamon Plessis, collaborated with the Rotary Club and another private donor to donate 500 cots, 2 Optiflow machines, and 2 industrial washing machines needed at the Victoria Hospital. I accompanied the items to St. Lucia, which I had not visited in a year due to travel restrictions, and saw firsthand the empty beaches and quiet highways. COVID has ravaged our island, but on this independence anniversary, I have hope that due to our resilience as a people, we will triumph once again. Happy Independence Anniversary to everyone. Please follow the protocols and stay safe.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
It's here, the BioIntelliSense Bio Button, an innovation to the Ministry of Health's approach in battling COVID-19. The Bio Button is a state-of-the-art device It supports people keeping regular checks of signs of possible COVID-19 infection while placed in home quarantine. It monitors temperature, heart rate, and respiratory rate. It is very simple. Just link it to your smartphone and place the button on your chest. It's that easy. The Bio button costs only $100 for the 14-day period. For further information, please contact the Epidemiology Unit at 468-5325 or 468-5324.
Octavia, could you just tell us about yourself and the fact that you are one of the young members of the association? From birth, you've been around different members. So just chronicle your life from youth, from a young person up to now in the association.
Okay, well, from the time I was born in America, I was born in the United States. But my St. Lucian roots never really left from me. I was raised in a St. Lucian household. And from the time I was in my mom's womb, she made sure that I always stayed in touch with her culture and her traditions. Being a part of the St. Lucia United Association, mind you, I'm not the only kid, but being a part of it has been a blessing and a very good experience because I've got to learn my other parts of my descendants and my ancestors. Also, I got to realize what my mom, like how she grew up, because it's very different from being a city girl and a village girl. And just growing up around the different people and understanding how different life is from here and in St. Lucia, it's also been very eye-opening because it made me more humble and more appreciative of what I have. Because in St. Lucia, it's not a lot, but the land is rich of love and happiness. That's one thing I could say. And for me to see how even though people left their home that they were born in and they came to the States, a whole different place, and they made sure that their future kids and their future kids would have still the traditions and the values that were instilled in them as young kids. We get those values instilled in us. From celebrations, events, we all get together and we all get to celebrate the past and also go to the future.
The baton is going to be passed from the older members to the younger members. As a younger member, tell us what you would like to initiate within the organization that you think that is needed and you're the ones to make it happen.
Well, I have a few things that I would love to initiate going on forward. And one of those things, above many, would be an IT program for our youth to get interested and familiar with technology. Another one would be programs, or what I say, workshops, that bring our youth together and for them to be trained in diplomacy. Another thing that we've been trying to touch base on is a foreign exchange program for our fellow St. Lucians to come up here and experience how the States are, and for our children in the States to go to St. Lucia and see where our tradition was born and how it is.
Octavia, presently, what is your involvement in the association presently?
My involvement in the association. My involvement in this association is, I would say, I'm a young leader. The reason why I call myself a young leader is because no matter if it's at an event or not at an event, I always will represent the St. Lucian United Association. So therefore, like I was saying earlier, my values that I've learned growing up in the organization and being around my fellow, St. Lucians, it has led me to want more, not only for myself, but for my people. And when I mean my people, I mean my St. Lucian people.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Welcome back to the interview with the president of the St. Lucia United Association, Ms. Neva Jean, on the 42nd anniversary celebrations of our independence and their 100th anniversary of being in existence. Neva, I must say that I was fortunate to be actually in the St. Lucia House, and I partook in the Zoom celebration of your 100 years. Of course, with COVID, everything had to be really scaled down. But in spite of that, you all had a really great time. I came there, I had a few hors d'oeuvres and some drinks as well. And of course, I was able to commune with all of you. How has COVID, how has it muted some of your plans, but yet you all still are pushing through? So for 2020, during your 100th year, 2021 right now and beyond, what plans are you all making? How did it affect you all? And what plans are you all making, as you said, in the new normal post-COVID?
Yeah. So for this year, one of the things that we were able to, well, actually it was last year, but one of the things we were able to do prior to our 100th was introduce our junior chapter. So we were very happy about that. That's one of our the things that we looked at as part of our 100th anniversary celebration, that we brought in a junior chapter, which was very good for the association, because we know we need the organization to continue. So we called, the name of the organization is When There Is Hope. So we hope that through them, the association can continue to thrive. We had big plans, major plans for our 100th. One of the things we wanted to do also was establish or select an organization or group in St. Lucia that needed assistance and try to sort of adopt that group, and so we can help give back and work on a project that we can give them some kind of assistance. But we were not able to do that. It was sort of difficult, as the time came by and COVID and everybody got a little bit pushed back, It just kind of interfered with the plans, as with our 100th celebration, a lot of interference, and we couldn't celebrate the way we wanted to. So we're hoping that we can do that going forward. But nevertheless, despite the circumstances, we were able to do, like you said, you came to our little Zoom events. We tried our best to make it look like a ballroom. So
it was well done. Well executed.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So we did that. We were able to do that, and we were very happy about it. We were hoping this year that we could actually celebrate it. It's another year that we may not be able to do that. But hey,
the vaccine is out, so we're hoping the vaccine.
Yes. So we're still looking forward to a lot of things to come. Like I said, we've also given scholarships, so we're hoping that next year at least we can give a scholarship to usually we give it to an incoming college student, a new college student. So we're hoping that we can continue to do that, and very soon. I'm not sure if we're going to forego the election this year. We're supposed to have elections this year.
Talk about your organization, because we do have elections in St. Lucia as well.
This is my last year. So I'm not sure if we're going to go forward. We really have not we've been having Zoom meetings. I encourage my senior members to get on Zoom. It wasn't that easy, but hey, I got them on Zoom, and I prefer to do Zoom because I like to see my senior members and ask them how they're doing. So it's very interesting to be able to see each other. So we have a lot of plans in the near future. We're hoping that things get better as quickly as possible, even though I may not be president very soon, but I'm hoping to continue the mission, continue and help whoever the existing president is, help them to continue the mission of the association.
Well, we have been speaking with a number of members of the St. Lucia United Association. The president, Ms. Neva Jean, the treasurer, Mr. Joseph Napoleon, and the junior member, Ms. Narcisse, who as well as a young leader really represented very well. When we come back, we say Happy Independence Anniversary, St. Lucia. We now go to the capital of the United States, Washington, D.C., again responsible for a number of consulates as well. So now we go to Washington to see the important work done by the diplomatic corps there, and of course the staff and the leader of government business within the corps in Washington.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Tell him say I live. Yeah, a resilient nation.
The Embassy of St. Lucia to the United States of America is based in Washington, D.C., where the seat of the U.S. government is located. It was established in 1984 with St. Lucia's first resident ambassador, His Excellency Dr. Joseph Edsel Edmonds, who served until 1997. Thereafter, Her Excellency Sonia Merlin Johnny served from 1998 to 2007 and later served a second tour of duty from 2012 to 2014. Meanwhile, His Excellency Dr. Michael Louis held office from 2008 to 2012, and Her Excellency Elizabeth Darius Clark served from 2015 to 2016. His Excellency Anton Edsel Edmonds assumed office in 2017 and continues to represent St. Lucia to date.
Greetings from Washington, D.C. I'm Anton Edmonds, St. Lucia's ambassador to the United States and our permanent representative to the Organization of American States. I also represent St. Lucia's interests in Canada as our non-resident High Commissioner and to Mexico as non-resident ambassador. Specific to the United States, the Embassy is the primary point of contact as it relates to advancing our interests to various U.S. government agencies, notably to the State Department, but also other entities such as the Department of Treasury, USAID, and the Department of Homeland Security. Our office is also very active in engaging the legislature, the U.S. Congress. Most recently, it was St. Lucia that led the successful CARICOM effort to extend the Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act, a key element of the Caribbean Basin Initiative. This agreement allows for manufacturers in the region to export certain products into the United States duty-free. Other recent successful engagements have included eliciting support from USAID for education, securing training support for our Financial Intelligence Agency, as well as the NERC, the National Utilities Regulatory Commission. Another focus of the Embassy in Washington, D.C. is consular affairs and diaspora engagement. Our office, like our consulates in other parts of the world, provide passport support and other services to our nationals. We also work with Capital to provide visas to persons visiting St. Lucia.
Headquartered in the U.S. Capitol is the Organization of American States, the OAS, comprising 34 member states within the hemisphere. St. Lucia gained membership to the organization on May 22, 1979, shortly after independence. Dual accreditation to the U.S. and the OAS facilitates joint representation, and Ambassador Edmonds, as were his predecessors, is also credited as St. Lucia's permanent representative to the OAS, with our office serving as a permanent mission of St. Lucia to the OAS.
As it relates to the Organization of American States, OAS, here we represent St. Lucia's interests at what is the world's oldest regional organization. At the OAS, we focus on four main pillars: democracy, integral development, the promotion and protection of human rights, and multidimensional security. St. Lucia, through this mission, is very active within this organization, and we as a country have benefited from university scholarships, programmatic support in early childhood education, and engagements that support small business development initiatives, amongst others. Also within the OAS, we, St. Lucia, have actively supported efforts associated with climate change policy, and we are also currently working with CARICOM on the issue of equitable access to COVID-19 vaccines.
In addition to the bilateral agenda, the Embassy also promotes the CARICOM agenda by working within the CARICOM caucus in Washington, D.C. In this light, St. Lucia chairs the CARICOM Caucus Subcommittee on U.S. federal, state, local, and municipal government and diaspora engagement and advocacy. The Summit of the Americas process is another avenue for diplomacy at work by the Embassy and Permanent Mission. Every 3 years, heads of state and government of countries of the Western Hemisphere convene to discuss common policy issues, affirm shared values, and commit to concerted actions at the national and regional level to address continuing and new challenges faced in the Americas.
The OAS also allows us to engage directly with other countries that we have deep relationships with. Relationships with Canada, Mexico, Peru have been strengthened because of the work we do together within this entity. Outside of the OAS, but in Washington, other engagements include with the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Pan American Health Organization, and the Pan American Development Foundation. In some of these cases, to support the activities of government agencies back home. Outside of Washington, D.C., myself and my colleagues also lead our bilateral efforts with Canada. Our engagement with Canada over the past few years has resulted in training for some of our ministries and computers for our educators. We are also very, very proud of the advocacy efforts that we were involved in, which have resulted in the deployment of a biometric system in St. Lucia, which no longer requires us to go to Barbados or Trinidad and Tobago for visas. We were also very much involved in securing a chartered flight for our nationals stuck in that country home at no cost to them. I have to give credit to our consulate in Toronto for the yeoman's work they did in tracking down our nationals who needed to come home. As it relates to COVID-19 and 2020, the embassy, as well as our consulates in Toronto, Miami, New York, has worked closely with our Tourism Authority, Ministry of External Affairs, and others to facilitate the movement of hundreds of our nationals home. This included cruise ship workers, students, and others, and included negotiating chartered flights to fly our people into St. Lucia even when our borders were closed. Beyond diplomatic representation, the embassy has also hosted a series of engagements over the past few years to showcase and to draw attention to our culture, many of them in collaboration with the Tourism Authority. We have featured St. Lucia at the Food Festival of the Americas, the Taste of DC Festival, and in collaboration with the World Bank, we have had St. Lucian chefs in 2018 and 2019 expose diplomats, staff of multilateral agencies, and others to our food and to our culture.
Our offices focus on the continuous strengthening of the relationship with our diaspora. We enjoy a strong partnership with the St. Lucia Association of the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, and have traditionally worked in tandem with them in organizing events to mark our independence anniversary, in particular our annual Thanksgiving church service, followed by fellowship with our nationals and friends of St. Lucia. We also join in celebrating Journée Creole. This diaspora group has been responsive to some of the developmental challenges at home and have stepped in to support school initiatives in St. Lucia. They have also provided support to our nationals who were stranded in the U.S. as a result of the pandemic. The embassy seizes every opportunity to showcase our nationals, and we were pleased to have a book signing of Running in Heels, authored by Yasmin Solita Odlam and Barbara Jacobs Small, as well as the launch of Sugar Blues, written by Cleta Springer. In showcasing our culture and products, the Embassy has participated in the Winter National Embassy Showcase, held annually in December at the Ronald Reagan Building and International Trade Center, as well as in the Embassy Chef Challenge, held every spring.
At the end of the day, our embassy, this mission, and our consulates are your offices overseas. We represent St. Lucia's interests, at times singularly, while at others as part of the Caribbean or Hemispheric Collective. On behalf of my colleagues here in Washington, D.C., happy independence to our St. Lucia.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Do you know we can limit the spread of the COVID-19 virus? The Ministry of Health is your partner in achieving this solution. Introducing the Amber Wristwatch. The Amber Wristwatch is designed for monitoring daily movements while in quarantine. It provides an accurate location and a precise heart rate. The device is also waterproof and can be worn during all daily functions, like washing the dishes or taking a shower. It's worn like a typical timepiece. The Ministry of Health can now better monitor people in home quarantine and receive alerts of those who do not stay in the confines of their home. A 14-day rental of the Amber Wristwatch is just $75 US. Let us stop the breaches of home quarantine.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can, we will.
Matthias Wilkie here, President of the St. Lucia House Foundation. I'm here to speak about the St. Lucian United Association. The St. Lucian United Association is the oldest organization in New York. Not just the oldest St. Lucian organization, but the oldest registered organization in the state of New York based on the fact of its continuity. There may have been other organizations which were formed before them and came back, but for continuance 100 years straight, the St. Lucian United Association is the oldest. The St. Lucian United Association has held St. Lucians in New York together for quite a number of years. The St. Lucian United Association could be credited for saving what is now known as the St. Lucia House on two occasions whilst it was owned by the Hellenites Association. At that time we had issues with taxes and the Hellenites Association, and the St. Lucian United Association came forward and paid those taxes. The St. Lucian United Association recently went on a nice recruiting drive where they've brought in a number of young people. There's a young organization which falls under the umbrella which is called When There Is Hope, and that shows that there's a future for the St. Lucian United Association. So everything that we do here, a lot of credit goes to the St. Lucian United Association for their longevity and for the knowledge that they pass on to all of us in the community.
Hi, my name is Joseph Napoleon, Treasurer of the St. Lucia United Association. I'd like to wish all St. Lucians here in the diaspora and St. Lucia a happy independence.
Let me take this opportunity to wish my fellow St. Lucians a happy 42nd Independence Anniversary. We've all been through the struggles, the fights, and the stress, but all of us have the strength and the love and the unity that we all needed to go through this tough time together, especially during COVID. I wish all of you a very safe, happy, and loving Independence Day, and I hope everyone continues to show the St. Lucian love and continue to rep our flag all the way. Much love and much blessings.
Greetings. My name is Lucia, President of the St. Lucian United Association, and I would like to wish all St. Lucians, my fellow St. Lucians, happy 42nd Independence Anniversary, coming from the St. Lucian United Association, who have just celebrated 100 years. Thank you.
We can, we will. We are a resilient people. We can,